From the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio, this is Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Welcome back, folks, to another exciting edition of Northeast Georgia Business Radio. I'm your host, Tom Sheldon, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County. I have with me a special guest, a young lady that I really think that a lot of people don't realize what her role is in the community and the job that she does. I have with me today Victoria Bowman, the director of the Piedmont Circuit Specialty Courts. Victoria, welcome to the Northeast studio.
Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate the opportunity today. Feel free to call me Vicky.
Can I call you Vicky?
Yes, please do.
Well, you hang out with judges and important people. I don't want to upset you.
Oh, no.
You're an important person too, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And you are.
Yeah.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So you are doing okay?
Yes, I'm doing very well today. It's, the pollen, I think, is attacking us all.
We were commiserating a little bit beforehand.
Right.
Got that little scratch going on.
Yes,
that'll end in June.
Yes, in June.
Pretty much.
Right. So, tea, green tea, and water.
A lot of tea.
Doing wonderful, though. Grateful to have this opportunity.
We're lucky to have you in here. I know you're a busy lady, and we have to mention it. We have to mention it. Judge Crawford suggested you and I get our heads together and have a great conversation.
Yes, I love Judge Crawford. He and Judge Green preside over our programs, but so wonderful to have the opportunity to connect with him as well.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yes, he is.
Hey, he's been a big supporter of this studio, and it's much, much appreciated.
Yes.
But let's get down to business. What exactly you do. Now, the Piedmont Circuit, that's Jackson, Barrow.
Yes, sir.
But now you're head of the specialty courts. You're director of the specialty courts.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. So specialty courts, the term is synonymous with accountability courts.
Okay.
And accountability courts are essentially treatment programs that are supervised by superior court. We are aiming to get individuals who have cycled through the criminal justice system time and time again.
You keep seeing the same face.
Keep seeing same faces, same issues. The difference is that we review and assess individuals for really a treatment need. So I want to know how bad their addiction is and how unstable their mental health is, and if that's the driving force that keeps them coming through the criminal justice system.
So you actually evaluate them case by case?
It is a case by case.
It's not a cookie cutter.
No, sir.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because the reality is that there are some issues that are too severe for our program.
What you're doing.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
And so it's wonderful to have an opportunity to assess. Of course, in that situation, we do refer those individuals to other treatment programs so that they're not out an opportunity. They have an opportunity for treatment. But individuals who come into our program, if they qualify, they meet the eligibility requirements, the clinical requirements, then they're able to come in and get help for their addiction and their mental health.
Part of the program.
Absolutely.
Part of the program. So it's court appointed.
It is court appointed.
So-and-so, you must get into this program.
Absolutely.
I got you. And there's accountability in that in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's voluntary. So even though they qualify, they still get to choose whether or not they're going to come in.
So they can say no to it.
Absolutely. They can.
I got you.
But it's a wonderful opportunity to
it's huge.
Provide that treatment that they really need. And it's shown to be very effective.
Yeah.
When you concentrate on that population of individuals who really need treatment, really need help, they stop going to prison. They stop going to jail. They stop offending. So that's what we're about.
Perhaps they need that accountability.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just something they need. They may not even realize it. But boom, once they get it,
absolutely,
life-changing.
Absolutely. It's really about the structure.
Yeah.
Our program, I can sum it up in 2 words: treatment and accountability. That's what it is. And it provides that structure to help them get on their own feet, and accomplish the goals that they want to accomplish for themselves.
The program covers what? Help with finding work, keeping work, education. I don't know. I'm throwing stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all those things.
Yeah.
So the first focus is really the evidence-based treatment curriculum that we provide to our clients. Now, evidence-based treatment curriculum just means there are these programs that have proven to help people.
Okay, I got
So
you.
we're not just creating things out of thin air.
Right.
We're using curriculum that have proven to help individuals with their same needs. On top of that, we're talking about getting their GED, education requirements, looking for employment, helping them keep that employment, individual counseling, group therapy, curfew, definitely drug testing. Drug testing is a huge component of our program right after our evidence-based curriculum. Lots of components that create this structure environment that we're really offering to our clients. And when we do, we offer it all together. We achieve our outcomes.
Nice. And it's benefiting the community, yes? It's got to.
Absolutely.
But you get to see it up close, I would imagine.
I do. It's a program that's 18 to 36 months.
Is it really?
It is a minimum of 18
Wow.
months. So it's a long term.
That is long term.
You don't get to see the payoff right there in
Right.
month 2. But by the time they get to month 18, 24, especially 36, you're seeing the payoff. And it definitely benefits our community along the way at every milestone.
They become productive.
Absolutely. Just getting a job
Oh, yeah.
6 weeks into the program. They're paying taxes, they're showing up to school events for their children. It benefits everyone, the family, the community, all the way around.
Well, and if they're strengthening just their own family,
Yes.
that could be generational effect in a positive direction.
Yes, Tom, absolutely. We talk about the effects of addiction all the time and that negative impact. Well, recovery has the same impact as well.
Yeah.
It definitely positively impacts generationally and positively impacts our communities. And that's exactly what we're going for.
Is homelessness affecting the system at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. That's one of our barriers to this program and really treatment in general is that there are not enough places to house individuals in the community so that community treatment facilities have the option to treat those individuals. Treatment facilities require community-based living, and if they can't find a home here, they can't receive the treatment
They can't
here.
get treatment.
Exactly.
That's a vicious circle.
It really is a vicious cycle.
Wow.
Yes, because they constantly need the treatment. Outpatient treatment facilities have the answer, but they can't get to it. So, that's really our program serves as that bridge between us and our community service board, which is Advantage Behavioral Health Systems, partner with us. And that's how a lot of our participants who may have been homeless before actually access their treatment services.
I got you. I've never been homeless. I hope I never am. But I got to imagine it's unnerving. I got to imagine you may get a little desperate.
Yes.
Do things you would never think you would do.
Yes, absolutely.
We're human beings after all.
Right. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to connect people with services. And that's what we're really going for.
Well, provide that stability.
Yes.
That base, that foundation, build on that. No puns intended.
Right.
But literally.
Absolutely. And, it's such a in the trenches approach. Like, we're not asking them to create these connections out of thin air.
Right.
You have a whole team. That's the beautiful thing about accountability courts is we have a multidisciplinary team. So everyone sits at the table that's a stakeholder in helping that person succeed.
Wow.
So the judge, attorneys, treatment provider, law enforcement, sheriff department, community supervision, admin staff, we all sit at the same table, talk about clients and how we can assist them in their progress.
Making it happen.
Absolutely.
Let them work on them.
And just really coming alongside of them to teach them the skills that maybe they didn't have beforehand.
I said this earlier. I've said this a couple times. I don't believe lay folk like myself know this even exists.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. It's hard work, and the men and women that are working day in and day out to make these opportunities available for our participants, I just want to give them a shout out as well. It's a lot of work day in and day out, but it's worth it.
I love it. And unfortunately, this has become a catchphrase, and I grow to dislike catchphrases. Opioid crisis. And I'm generalizing, society in general. Mm-hmm. We hear these phrases, unfortunately, mental health, the phrase mental health is getting to be one.
Right.
We get cold toward the phrase, toward the saying, oh, opioid crisis. Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, I know what that is. Odds are you don't know anything about it.
Right.
I know it's growing in Jackson County.
Yes.
I bet that's affecting what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no way it can't.
Yes, it's definitely impacting our programs. It's impacting our community in general.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason. I know we've been a well-kept secret, it seems like, for a long time.
Secret's out, folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's really it. And I agree with you. You hear opioid crisis so many times. But it's impacting our community.
Yeah.
Right now, we're seeing mixes of substances, illicit substances like drugs that have every type of opioid in it. And we're losing young adults. We're losing members of our community as a result of that. But our program, we try to provide the opportunity for individuals, again, I've said it before, but to connect to resources. But the accountability and structure of our treatment has a component for medication-assisted treatment that really helps provide another option for those individuals who are looking for treatment.
Right.
And, that's medication-assisted treatment is something that's not very well known, and people have their opinions about it. But when it's appropriately supervised, and that's the difference. That makes all the difference to me.
Absolutely it does.
When there's a doctor there to supervise that medical treatment, it makes a world of difference. They have the opportunity to decrease cravings so that they can focus on learning the skills that's going to change their lives.
Yeah, if they're hurting, we'll just leave it at that. If they're hurting, it's hard to change your life.
Absolutely.
It's hard to do anything really positive.
Absolutely.
Just to be honest with you.
Absolutely, it is. We know that, you stump your toe, and it's hard to concentrate after that, and I use that metaphor very, no disrespect to the actual addiction that we're talking about and the instability, but the same principle exists. You have to have something that can help you in the moment to focus so that you can gain those skills. And so the opioid crisis has been one of those national crises that we've heard a lot about, especially during the pandemic to now. Yeah. I think there are opportunities and multiple methods of treatment that come through our program, through our stakeholders, that's really been effective in helping individuals who have an opioid dependence.
Is meth a growing issue on this side of the world?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Oh, as a matter of fact, meth is the number one drug of choice.
Is it really?
Opioids are number two.
Yuck.
Yeah, methamphetamine has been very prevalent in rural areas. Now, I know Jackson County is growing and we're getting larger by the minute, but we are largely a rural area.
Oh, yeah.
Especially out in Banks County, the parts of Jackson that touch Banks County, but we're not getting away from methamphetamine either.
Wow.
And in fact, we're finding that methamphetamine now is being cut with lots of other different drugs. So it's no longer just meth. And I think that's why we're addressing opioid dependence as much as we are in Jackson County, because that's coming in from counties outside of Jackson County, from the Atlanta area, kind of moving this way. But those the methamphetamine drugs are actually cut with opioids, fentanyl, heroin.
Fentanyl.
Yes. So you really you think you're using meth, but really you're using meth and a number of other different substances.
The thought scares me.
There's definitely a need for these treatment facilities.
There is. And I'm glad folks like yourself, the system is supervising it.
Absolutely. I'm very grateful. We've talked a lot about, over the past years, you hear people all the time talking about the criminal justice system needs to change. And we all agree with that. We can't put everybody in jail, in prison. These programs provide an opportunity to decrease the jail census, the prison census, by providing treatment for these people who don't have to continue this cycle. And the accountability, I giggle a little bit because The accountability is quite intense. It's intense supervision. These are adults over 18 that have curfews, probably haven't had a curfew since they were in.
They may never have had a curfew.
Very true.
Ouch.
Very true.
Yeah.
But, now they have curfews. They haven't had probably any drug screens before. Now they have a minimum of 2 to 3 a week.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Never had any kind of structured treatment. Now they have to be a part of group therapy, individual counseling to address some of the underlying issues.
This is intense.
Very, very intense.
You didn't make it sound near as intense I think that it is. Wow.
Yeah, and those are just a few components.
That's just the beginning.
Yes, they have to come to court. They're mandated court dates. They have to give an account to the judge of their progress every other week.
Oh, wow.
Which is,
that's cool.
It is cool. And it's a little intimidating for them. Some of them
Well, it should be.
Yes.
It should be.
Yeah, I think on some level, they haven't. Some of them haven't.
The respect needs to be there.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And they've had some experiences with law enforcement that haven't been positive.
Right.
So seeing the judge in this capacity is a very positive thing. Like I said, like you said, it's the respect factor, and that the judge is like this physical representation that I have to give an account for what I've done. Again, there are lots of little things. I say little things, but little things that make it very intense supervision and intense treatment. And this is on a weekly basis, sometimes a daily basis.
There's no time off.
No time
for at least
off.
18 months.
Oh, the actual average completion is around 24 months for our program.
2 years.
2 years. They get it every day, every week for 2 years.
I'm exhausted just talking about it. I'll tell you what.
Well, sometimes they are too.
So now, Vicki, we're producing good citizens, basically.
Yes, we are. I believe we are.
People are working, strengthening their families.
Yes.
I guess all in all, that just builds a stronger community.
Absolutely, it does. It absolutely strong families, strong communities. These programs do provide lots of great benefits to the community. I know we've talked about it, but we keep stats. We do record, and we have certain stats that we like to keep up with for our own personal. Just
your own
edification.
accountability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Accountability is the name of the game here for everyone.
I'm huge on accountability. I've learned over time that some people really don't like it when you hold them accountable.
Right.
It's one of those, someone asks me to do a job, and I will do the job, but don't get upset with me because I did.
Right.
Anyway, off the soapbox.
I gotcha.
Back to community benefits, please. Save me here. Save me.
Yeah, we keep up with a lot of different stats. These programs do have bipartisan support for a reason, because they really do save our taxpayers money, and that's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
They also reduce recidivism, and over the course of time, we've been in operation for about 15 years now.
Really?
Yes.
The program that you work within?
Yes.
15 years.
15 years.
I don't think anyone, unless they're associated closely, knows that.
That's why I'm here, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Wow.
Yes.
I had no. I thought y'all started this 5-6 years ago. I don't know.
We 2010.
Working on a third decade almost.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've been around, and in that period of time, we've had. Well, we just had another graduation, but our records indicate right now we have about 90 graduates that have come through our program. We've saved our community over $5 million in avoided incarceration costs.
Nice.
So, we're doing the right thing. We're providing that structure, providing that accountability. My favorite stat are the drug-free babies. We count every baby that's born drug-free. One baby that has drugs in their system costs the system $53,000 to treat. Wow. So every baby born with opioids or meth, cocaine in their system, it costs that hospital about $53,000 to treat it. Every drug-free baby born, we save taxpayers that money. We've saved 23. We have 23 drug-free babies.
Nice.
So that's over $1.2 million we've saved, just our community.
Yeah.
So these, it's just our program here, Jackson, Barrow, but these programs are statewide. So we're definitely helping our communities and building those communities. I also like to think that we're helping individuals. We are definitely helping individuals.
Well, you are. You're helping them, but you're strengthening the community.
Absolutely.
In many ways, someone like myself hadn't even thought of. I didn't even go near the taxpayer part of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a taxpayer. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I vote. I
got you.
I vote.
Yeah, we definitely want to utilize those funds in the best capacity. And I think, these programs utilize those funds to really give back to the community, I believe. It's just another form to give back, steward that money appropriately.
Be good stewards.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, I kind of hesitate to ask this. How to connect with the Piedmont Circuit, the specialty courts? How to connect? There's a bad joke I'm going to avoid.
Okay.
Because you're way too classy for me to tell that stupid joke.
Okay.
How to connect with the program you're working with the courts in general?
Yes.
That's not something everyone thinks of.
Right. No.
A lot of people don't want to go near a courthouse.
Absolutely. Yes.
For whatever reason.
Right. Yeah, and that part's very daunting.
Yeah.
Like we in the big place where all the gavels fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think I just want to emphasize that we're out here to help connect people to resources. We're here to help individuals in our community. We really are passionate about helping people get better, and that in turn helps their families, and that in turn helps our community. But we're at the courthouse. We have our specialty court review sessions where our participants come in and they talk to the judge. That's open to the public, and we do invite people to come in to see that exchange.
I imagine it's interesting.
It is very interesting.
Seriously.
Yes. It is.
For someone who talks for a living.
Yes, absolutely. You learn a lot. And of course, the Judge Crawford is wonderful. Judge Green is great. They're not going to share protected information in court.
Well, of course.
But you're going to hear the participants talk about what they've gained. Their families come, and that's a wonderful experience because they become different people at different milestones in this 2-year journey that they're on. The courts are open. Come see what we're doing. Come see how we're spending your money. We also have graduations. We send those notices out through the county, sometimes even through the newspaper. We invite everybody to come in, see how we celebrate these individuals. They've worked, when I say they've worked hard.
I believe that.
They definitely have worked very hard.
I believe that.
Yes. And we have the opportunity as well to just really help people connect to treatment. If you're not a good fit for our program and you want treatment, we want to be able to help point you in the right direction. Yeah. That's what we should be about as a community.
Mm-hmm. At the very least.
Absolutely.
Make connections.
Absolutely.
Those who go through this system they go through these programs, they graduate, they suddenly or eventually actually like themselves.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that's where it starts.
Absolutely.
And then boom, the family, the community, and it grows from there.
Absolutely. I often say too, we don't perform miracles. I don't cure. I often say I'm not Jesus, but it is an opportunity for change. And I think that's more than what the system has offered before, a real opportunity for change in that we're providing the treatment and the accountability and the wraparound services that they need to accomplish that. I think that's a big deal.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, Vicki, before we get out of here, any events? Do you guys have any type of events, community stuff, or...
Yeah,
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Do you really?
Yeah. In fact, we have the Northeast Georgia Opioid Summit coming up May 2nd. It's hosted by our CSB, Advantage Behavioral. We'd love for everybody to come out and connect. We'll have speakers. There'll be lots of food.
Nice.
Lots of opportunities to connect with people in recovery.
Now, is that an annual event?
It is an annual event.
Usually somewhere around the beginning of May.
Yes. May is Drug Court month.
Okay.
September is Recovery month. So typically there are events in both months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we usually have a Recovery Fest in September. That location changes most of the time, but it's been predominantly held in Athens, Georgia.
Oh, I got you. That's not a bad place to do anything, to be honest with you.
That's true. Now, and I would be amiss if I didn't mention Reboot Jackson, our recovery community organization.
What's that guy's name? John? What's her
Langston,
name? Jen? Those
Big
folks?
shout out to Reboot Jackson and their staff. I just left them, actually.
They are awesome.
Yes, wonderful.
Flat out awesome. Big friends of the studio.
Absolutely. And they have events at their RCO
Sure.
all the time that our participants are a part of. So lots of events going on. Just connect with us. We can connect you with some resources, facilities, dates.
Is there a good way to connect? Website? Jackson County?
Sure, yeah. You go to the Jackson County government website.
Yeah,
We're
that's it.
The
name was
specialty
escaping me. I'm sorry.
No problem. The specialty court heading.
You can probably just Google some of these events.
Oh, absolutely.
If they're annual, they'll pop up.
Oh, yes, yes.
Sweet. I didn't even know we were getting into that. This is like a bonus.
It's awesome.
Well, see, that wasn't hard at all, was it?
No, this was fun.
We're just hanging out.
Yes.
We're just talking.
I like the living room conversation kind of feel.
That's all it is.
Yes.
That's all it is. Don't take it too seriously, folks.
Right.
Victoria, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
This was fun.
It was fun. Thank you for the opportunity.
I get to
Tom.
learn stuff I know nothing about.
Yes.
They're going to play music, and I got to wrap up, Folks, Victoria Bowman, Director, Piedmont Circuit Specialty Courts. What she and the folks in the Piedmont are doing is amazing. Not just lock someone up and forget about them, actually building a better community. I love it. Hey, I'm Tom Sheldon. We'll talk to you soon.